and good morning. We're live here at the Flow Studios in beautiful Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Nadine Liverpool, and with me, like always, is Dalton Myers as we give you another edition of the Flow Sports Rio Report. On today's show, Jamaica's Omar McLeod sprints and hurdles his way to gold. Usain Bolt and Elaine Thompson continues to stride toward a twin sprint double for Jamaica. And Guyana's Troy Doris gives a good account of himself in the men's triple jump.
And of course, Jamaican Omar McLeod qualified for the 110-meter hurdles with the fastest time, but he would be the only Caribbean athlete in the final. All alone, McLeod in lane 5 was not to be denied. Let's take a look.
We think about what happened 8 years ago in Beijing when a nation held its breath and couldn't believe what they were seeing. Well, now, the sprinting nation of Jamaica is on the verge of seeing a moment that they haven't experienced before, and they've had plenty of good moments. McLeod commenced quickly. Martineau Lagarde was beaten out. Bascu got a good start. Allen's going well for America. McLeod's in front past halfway. He's starting to come away now, the Jamaican, and he takes the gold medal. Ortega gets up for the silver, but it was McLeod's medal for the taking, and he certainly took it. He commanded the race from the
pressure moment in the Olympic final. He looks a little shell-shocked. I tell you what, he was put under pressure by Dimitri Bascu in the lane outside him.
Great job by Omar McLeod. The entire Caribbean is really proud of his achievement. 13.05, not the fastest, it's not sub 13, but a great job there by Omar McLeod. He has done 9.99 seconds over the flat 100 meters, so he's really quick. And this time, he did a really good job out there. Before this, remember, he got the world indoor title running 7.41 seconds. So this guy is really fast. He's a first Jamaican to win gold in the 110-meter hurdles at any Olympic Games. Fantastic job by Omar McLeod, and the entire Caribbean is, of course, proud of his achievement.
Yeah, and it looks like Omar got some inspiration from Usain Bolt and Elaine Thompson's gold medal performance. He said, you know what, I'm going to go out and get a gold of my own. Jamaica now has 3 gold medals in Rio 2016, the most so far in the Olympics. Well, you're talking about Usain Bolt, he has already showed the whole world that he is no doubt one of the best sprinters of this generation, and by winning the 100-meter crown for the 3rd straight time. And now he's going for the 200-meter crown for the 3rd straight time. Can he do it?
Yeah, remember I mentioned earlier about Usain Bolt trying to get the 200 meters, the 100 meters, and the 4x100 meters. Struggling there, a false start for the Bahamas in that first heat. But there were quite a number of Caribbean athletes who were in the 200 meters. Johan Blake earlier, he easily qualified and moved through to the next round. 20.13 was his time. A lot of Caribbean athletes did really well in the 200 meters for men, and it was a great job for most of them. Some didn't make it through, but certainly one of the competitors, one of the rivals for Usain Bolt will be Justin Gatlin. He cruised in 20.42. Nickel Ashmead is another one of the Jamaicans, Caribbean, and also Caribbean athletes who we're looking forward to. But for me, that 20.29 was easy for Usain Bolt, and I don't think anyone will be able to catch him. Andre DeGrasse should be doing really well. 20.09 he qualified with. He's another one of those athletes that we expect to get a medal, but most of the Caribbean athletes are through. Miguel Francis from Antigua, he didn't participate. I expected him to be in this one and move through to the finals, but he tweeted that he was injured.
Well, here's a quick, let me think, Nadine nerd note. Yes, I just thought of that. A quick fact. Andre DeGrasse from Canada, but his mom is from Trinidad and Tobago. So Dalton, does that mean that TNT has won a bronze medal by default?
Well, no. Well, we can claim him as part of the Caribbean. One of the interesting facts is that you'll realize a lot of athletes who may not be representing the Caribbean has Caribbean heritage and roots.
Okay, well, Jamaica's Ansert White joins the gold rush this morning against the 7th fastest 400-meter hurdler of all time, Kieran Clement.
And Stuart White is having a good time at these championships. Kieran Clement first, though, really jogged through this one and did a really good time. 48.26 was his time. The Kenyan also doing really well in the next heat, 48.26 as I mentioned, but Ansert White, he trains at the Racers Track Club there based at the University of the West Indies. Glenn Mills is a head coach, same coach for Johan Blake and Usain Bolt. Great job, 48.32 as I mentioned. And the Kenyan, he did 48.85, so the finals will be really interesting. Some Caribbean athletes didn't make it through. Roxora Cato in this heat didn't make it through, and also Jahil Hyde, who ran 49.17 earlier in the earlier heats. He didn't make it through to the next round, but a lot of persons are talking about Ansert White. Interestingly, he was a 400-meter runner and started to do in the hurdles probably some 2 to 3 years ago. So great job, and we expect a medal from him. But it's a hurdles event, so sometimes we have to be very careful with our predictions on this one.
Well, it's another day and another poll, and we asked you guys on social media, who did you think would be the fastest Caribbean amongst our fastest in the men's 200-meter finals amongst our Caribbean teams? Who do you think will be the fastest man over 200 meters? Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Miguel Francis, Rondell Sorello. And, you know, I think I already know what they're going to say.
Usain St. Leo Bolt. I think 100% will say Usain Bolt.
Yes, 96%. You know, I need to tell the social media team every single day it's Usain Bolt that wins. But Johan Blake, 2%, Miguel Francis, and Rondell, I don't know, he can get a single vote.
Yeah, and he's doing well. Today's poll question, the Caribbean took home a total of 34 medals in the London 2012 Olympic Games. How many medals do you think that we will take home this time around? A, 34, B, 40, C, 31, D, 45.
Well, how much did they win before? But I think that's a high number.
Answer
if you ask
live on
me.
Twitter at Flow Sports Live, or comment on Facebook or Instagram using the hashtag FlowPoll11.
Well, for our viewers in the Southern Caribbean, you can check out Olympic 1, 2, and 3 on Flow for a wide variety of sports content for today. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Flow Sports Rio Report. I'm Nadine and he's Dalton. Well, in the women's 400-meter hurdle semis, 3 Jamaicans will line up in Thursday's final. That's a sight that's almost like clockwork for the Olympics for JA.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting one for going through. Of course, TNT's Janelle Belil, I hope I got her name correct. She didn't qualify. Tough luck for her. It's really tough for her, but certainly Ristinana Tracy, she did 54.80, qualified from the semifinals. It was a really good job. Genevieve Russell, again, I mentioned she's coming back from injury. She also qualified, doing a great job there. She was placed second in that heat, 54.92, behind the winner who did 54.87. And then Leah Nugent, if you remembered, she was originally disqualified in that earlier heats. Jamaica appealed that and she was put back in. And she also made it through to the finals. She did 54.98 as one of the fastest losers. So a great job there by all 3 Jamaicans. Now, interestingly, this is the first time that Jamaica is having 3 hurdlers, 3 female hurdlers in the finals of an Olympic Games. So this is a great job so far by those young ladies, Genevieve Russell, Ristanana Tracy, and Leah Nugent, moving forward to the finals, and that will be a great one. That will be a really good one, and I think most Jamaicans are expecting at least one medal from that. Some people
Well,
are saying
what about
two,
a sweep? Do you think that's possible?
It is possible. It is the hurdles, and all three are doing really well, but you get the impression that the Americans will break it up. There are some very good runners there from the United States of America who are doing a really good job. So it may be difficult for the Jamaicans to take 1, 2, 3 in that one.
Now, on to the women's 100-meter hurdles, where there were 6 Caribbean athletes sprinkled through the heats, meaning a strong Caribbean semifinal presence was gonna come along.
Yeah, a lot of persons are talking about Megan Simmons in that one. But before, you had Shermaine Williams over there. I think she was running out of lane 4. She did a time of 12.95 seconds, placing 4th to make it through to that heat. Bahamas' Pendria Seymour, she did 12.85 seconds to also make it through her heat. Nikisha Wilson out of Jamaica, she did 12.89. And of course, Barbados' Keir Beckles, she did 13.01 seconds. But look at Megan Simmons, she's in lane 7. Very short for a hurdler, but doing a great job. 12.81 is her time. Fantastic job there by Megan Simmons, and they have moved through to the next round. Megan Simmons, incidentally, last year, she did a great job. I think it was 12.9, but got injured and didn't make it through to any of the teams last year, including the World University Games team.
Well, 3 of the 6 women are Jamaican, but Dalton, can I be honest with you? Since the athletics started on Friday, I feel like this is becoming the Jamaican Olympic recap show. Now, I know Jamaicans have been dominating it, so I'm not hating, but how do we get the rest of the region on board?
I think there are a lot of talent right throughout the region, and you can see that. Later we'll talk about Michelle Yai and a lot of those guys. I think there are a lot of talent in the Caribbean, and you should see that coming through. A lot of the region just need to probably work together a little bit more in honing a lot of those skills.
Well, the region, they're not getting through, but one athlete that is getting through is Michelle Lee Ahi, who ran a national record for Trinidad and Tobago in the women's 200-meter semis.
Women's 200-meter finals is coming up later, but certainly in the semifinals, a lot of Caribbean athletes making it through. Daphne Skippers, though, we call her the Flying Dutch Woman. She was really fast, 20.96 ahead of Elaine Thompson in this heat. She wants to get one up on the Jamaicans. Elaine Thompson, she did 22.13 out there. But certainly, a lot of the Caribbean athletes are doing well. And Simoy Hackett, she didn't make it through from this heat. Struggling in this Olympics, I might add. A little disappointing, but of course we have to be very proud of all of our Caribbean athletes who are going out there and representing. Simone Faces, she didn't make it, but look out for Michelle Yai. She did a really good job in running 22.25, which is a national record for Trinidad and Tobago. I think we must all be really proud of her and her achievements. It's been really difficult though for her to medal, but anything can happen. This is the finals and she's going out there, as she said, to try and get a medal, whatever color that one will be. For viewers on the Northern Caribbean, viewers can also tune into Olympic 1, 2, and 3. Extra options to get your Olympic fix. We'll be right back after the break.
am now joined with sports journalist and researcher Vidya Ramphal. Thanks for joining us today, Vidya.
Nice to be here.
Well, when people think of the most dominant countries in the Caribbean when it comes to the Olympics, we think Jamaica, Trinidad, and Bahamas. But today, Vidya profiles the rest of the Caribbean who've also found great success at the Olympics.
Going into the Rio Olympics, English-speaking Caribbean countries had won exactly 100 medals at the Olympic Games up to that point. Jamaica had 67, Trinidad and Tobago 18, and Bahamas 12. Of the rest, only Barbados, Grenada, and Guyana had won 1 medal apiece. Grenada and Jamaica have since added medals to their tally at the Rio Games. Guyana has competed at 16 Summer Olympic Games, winning 1 medal. The medal was won by bantamweight boxer Michael Anthony Paris in 1980. Paris defeated future Hall of Fame boxer Daniel Zaragoza of Mexico during his run to the semi-finals. He lost to eventual gold medalist Juan Hernandez of Cuba in Moscow. Much earlier than that, the Guyana-born middle-distance runner Philip Edwards won 5 bronze medals at the Olympics, competing under the flag of Canada. He won medals in 1928, 1932 and 1936. Guyana's Dutch-speaking neighbors Suriname have 2 Olympic medals to its credit. Anthony Nesty has won both. Nesty, who was born in Trinidad, won gold in the 100-meter butterfly at the Seoul Olympics of 1988. 4 years later in Barcelona, he finished 3rd in the same event.
Fantastic stuff there, Nadine. But Vidya, just going through that, 1976, Guyana boycotted that games, and it denied one of their top athletes, James, a medal in the 200 meters. Why did that happen?
Well, in 1976, what actually happened was that the Guyana government decided to join a boycott led by Africa, which was basically because New Zealand had decided, was in the Olympics. New Zealand earlier that year, their rugby team had decided to tour South Africa, which was banned at the time. Now, rugby was not part of the Olympic Games. However, Guyana decided to join the Olympic Games. Now, Guyana had a very hard line when it came to South Africa. In 1970, when Gary Sobers visited Rhodesia, which had a lot of links to South Africa, they banned him from coming to Guyana. Later on, when the English fast bowler Robin Jackman visited Guyana, and it was learned he had links to South Africa, they also revoked his visa and he had to leave the country. So they took a very hard line. Jilts, however, he suffered as a result. He had won the Pan American Games gold the year before, and he was seen as a favorite to beat Don Quarry.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how that would have worked out, but he was seen as a favorite to beat Don Quarry. However, he never got the chance.
Interestingly, as we talk about that, Guyana has always had a strong stance, especially when it comes down to apartheid. And that transcended especially into the team, the West Indies cricket team, that later went to South Africa. So they've always had that kind of a strong stance when it comes down to it, and it affected him.
Certainly, one of the features of the Forbes Burnham government, perhaps more than any of the governments in the Caribbean, a very, very hard line when it came to South Africa.
Well, Philip Edwards, he ran for Guyana, pardon me, but represented Canada. So when it comes to that, in 1936 Berlin Games, he got denied entry into a hotel in London. What happened?
Well, Phil Edwards, just to give you a little context on him, he won 5 bronze medals over 3 Olympic Games. 1936 was perhaps his most significant one because it came at the Berlin Games. Now, Adolf Hitler, what he had attempted to do during the 1936 Games was to spread the Nazi credo of the master race. Now, one of the reasons why it didn't work was the performance of the black athletes at these games. Jesse Owens usually is given the credit for this, for his 4 gold medals. But Phil Edwards did his part. He won a bronze medal in the 800-meter race, which was a very, very good race indeed, and it was one of the races of the event. Now, when he and the Canadian team left Berlin, they went to London. They checked into a hotel. Some of the guests in the hotel objected to him being there. They did not feel comfortable staying in a hotel in which there was a young black man there. So the Canadian team, what they did, they said, listen, if this hotel is not good for our Phil Edwards, it is not good for us. They moved and they went to another hotel. Phil Edwards eventually became a captain in the Canadian Army, and he also became an expert in tropical diseases. He was a medical doctor.
Really?
Brilliant man indeed.
Real interesting stuff there, and of course Troy Doris, triple jumper at this Olympics for Guyana. I would want to spend a lot of time talking about that, but of course I want to move to talking about Grenada and Barbados right after we look at this.
Barbados' only Olympic medal to date is a bronze medal won by sprinter Obadeli Thompson in the men's 100 meters at the 2000 Summer Olympics. Thompson also finished fourth in the 200 meters at Sydney, just as he did at the 200 meters at the Atlanta Games of 1996. Barbados had competed as part of the West Indies Federation in 1960. The Barbadian athlete James Wedderburn was part of the 4x400 meter relay team which won the bronze medal that year. Barbados first competed at the Summer Olympics of 1968. Grenada won its first medal at the London 2012 Olympics when Kirani James clocked a new national record of 43.94 seconds on the 6th of August 2012 to win gold in the men's 400 meters. The country first competed at the Olympic Games in 1984 and has participated in each Summer Olympic Games since then. Before Kirani James's success, the quarter-miler Alan Francisque finished fourth in the Athens Games of 2004. James won silver in the 400 meters at the Rio Games to bring Grenada's tally to 2 medals.
Well, one of the athletes that you mentioned, Vidya, has a day named after him on August 25th.
Yeah, that's right. Next Thursday will be Kim Collins Day.
Okay.
It will be celebrated in St. Kitts. Now, the celebration was really meant to put forward Kim Collins to celebrate Kim Collins' win back in 2003 in the World Championships. It's one of the great days in sport in St. Kitts and Nevis, and especially the fact that he is a Kittitian. Remember, St. Kitts has never really put a player on the West Indies team, so it's one of their points of vanity, I guess it would be. But Kim Collins, when he won that just ahead of Darrell Brown from Trinidad and Tobago, it was a big event in St. Kitts Nevis, and it has been celebrated since then.
Well, let's talk about Barbados. Yeah. 2 Barbadians have won have won medals at the Olympics, but only one, Obadeli Thompson, he has been credited officially with a medal for the country.
Yeah.
Explain that one.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because Obadeli Thompson is the first one to win a medal for Barbados, but he's not the first Barbadian to win a medal. The first would be James Wedderburn, who won a medal as part of the 4x100 meter team that came in 1960 at the Rome Olympics. Now remember, at that time, Barbados was part of the West Indies Federation, right. And the team competed under the name the Antilles. So what had actually happened is that James Wedderburn, he had to travel to Jamaica in 1960, and when he traveled to Jamaica, he participated in the Jamaica trials, and he got his chance to, he was one of the fastest there, and he got his chance to be on the team. Now, interestingly, he was the only Barbadian on a team that was composed of 3 other Jamaicans and a Jamaican coach in Herb McKinley. You had Mal Spence, you had Gardner, and we also had George Kerr in there also, who were outstanding runners. So there was a little bit of, it was a little bit difficult, these 4 men having to come together. Eventually they were able to do so. And what was interesting about this, while these 4 Caribbean men could come together and win a medal, the Caribbean politicians, however, in the Federation were not. A year later, the Federation was over and the Antilles team was gone forever.
Great stuff there, Vidya. I really always appreciate it, and we'll have to continue this discussion another time. Hope that you'll be back with us. Thank you very much for joining us. Now you can keep track of all your favorite athletes all day on the Flow Rio 2016 Extra app, available for iOS and Android devices. We'll be right back after this break.
Welcome back to the final round of this edition of the Flow Sports Rio Report. Now, it's time for me to have some fun with Dalton, and I need some of your predictions, not just for people at home, for people that are betting and people like me, because I'm not getting anything done with Playway. So I need to start trying to make some bets on Olympics.
All right, let's go.
Okay, first up, women's 800 meters. Who you got?
Well, this is an early round for it. Certainly, I expect to see some Caribbean athletes in there in terms of Simoya Campbell, Natalia Gould, and Kenya Sinclair. The national trials, Natalia Gould, she was a winner for that one. Kenya Sinclair was second, and Simoya Campbell was in third. All three women have been below 2 minutes so far in their career, personal best of below 2 minutes. So I expect all three to make it through.
And in 2012, Keyshawn Walcott became the first Caribbean athlete to win a medal in a non-track track event, but a field event. So can he pull off the double?
I think he can. It's been a tough season for him. He has the national record of above 90 meters. In 2012, of course, he threw 84.58 to win that Olympic gold. This year, he will need to beat a lot of other guys. There are 6 other guys who have done better than him for this year, as far as 90 meters. Diego is there. A lot of other athletes are there who he will need to beat, but he will need to be very strong. Don't count him out, Trinidad and Tobago. I think he'll make us proud.
And of course, the men's 200-meter semifinals are later tonight, and we are pretty sure 99.9% sure that Usain Bolt's going to win the gold.
Yeah.
But now the question is, can he break his own world record?
That is the question. I think certainly Usain Bolt is trying to get out there and do damage on the track. A lot of guys who have gone through, Andre DeGrasse, I spoke about him before, 20.09. He has gone through with Rondell Sorillo from Trinidad and Tobago. He has qualified 20.27. No, I think to get a medal, you will need to run sub 20. A lot of persons will say, well, yeah, that is it. You must. It's not a matter of who will win. Usain Bolt will win. It's about who will get second and third. Don't count out DeGrasse, and of course, do not count out Johan Blake. Look out for those guys.
Well, and in the 200-meter women's final, Elaine Thompson, she will also be looking to pull off the double after her surprising 100-meter win. She was like, she didn't even know that she was going to beat Shelly Ann Fraser-Price. But can she pull off the double in the 200?
She can. She's very strong in this one. Last year at the World Championships, Daphne Skippers caught her before the tape. This time, she's trying to get the double. Daphne Skippers is stronger in the 200 meters than in the 100 meter. Michelle Yair, national record, but she will need to run much faster, I think, in my opinion, to get a medal there. Look out for Tori Bowie from the United States. She's also quick. So, and Marie-Jose Talou has been doing some very good time. She did a personal best of 22.28 in the semifinals. I think it will be between Daphne Skippers and Elaine Thompson. I'm going with Elaine Thompson because I trust Steve Francis from the MVP Track Club that he will get her ready for this one. Another gold, I think, for Jamaica.
People are getting shout-outs on this show and everything. But in the women's 100-meter hurdle semifinals, Jamaica's Shermaine Williams, Nikisha Wilson, Megan Simmons, plus the Bahamas' Patricia Seymour, all in action in the semifinal. Who progresses and who actually wins the whole thing?
It's difficult to predict for me personally because it is the hurdles. But let's just talk about the Caribbean athletes. Megan Simmons, she went through with 12.81, as we said before. Pendra Seymour, 12.85, doing really good out there. Nikisha Wilson, 12.89. So they're going below 13 seconds, which is good. Shermaine Williams, 12.95. I expect all of them to make it through. It's really tough. It's 10 hurdles. It's 10 hurdles to get through, 3 steps in between. It will be difficult, but I think all of these Caribbean athletes can make it through to the finals, and we'll take it from there.
Well, that's all for us today. We're looking forward to seeing all your celebration pics from tonight's events. Make sure to follow us on social media at Flow Sports Live, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.